So recently I got my new printer, right? Mm-hmm. Because my old one decided, hey, I'll still work except for the complete fact of not working at all.
As most printers go.
Yeah, so I mean, it'll turn on, it'll connect, it'll do everything, but it was like its loading wheel or whatever couldn't grasp the paper. So I don't know. I couldn't do anything about it. So I got a new one. It's working, but there came a time the other week where I was trying to print some things out. And so it was connecting, it was on, it was in there, but it just, like, whenever I went to actually print, it wouldn't connect. Like, it wouldn't just do the thing it was made for. So for whatever reason, looking under the tab with all the printers that's picked up, whatever, there's the one, and then there's that two. So it was like a second one. It was just like printer, and then it was like printer 2. I'm like, okay, let's try that one. Click, print. I'm like, seriously? Like, why is there 2 things?
Technology, right? This is where we need Zach for this. He'd have some insight there.
Yeah, but then we're going to be sitting here for another hour. So, point was, I got to work. It's working fine now. I print it all out. It was a lucky thing, too, because there's this little test, little quizzes for a class I do. And so, since it's online, after it's done, it gives me the review page. So, I'm thinking, I'm going to be smart. I'm going to print them out each time. Mm-hmm. Lucky enough to me, because of my past intelligence, when it came to the unit exam, he goes, okay, half the questions on there are from your previous quizzes.
And you're like, oh man, I'm a genius. So
basically, so I'm sitting here, taking my time, flipping through pages, like, oh, there's the question. Yep, that's the answer. Okay. Oh, okay. Yep, there's that one. Answer.
So you're telling me that you were set?
I was very set. I got 100 on that one. It was pretty nice.
You're a cheater.
Sometimes you gotta make your way through. Sometimes you gotta make your way through life like that.
For fuck's sake. But no, printers are a pretty annoying piece of shit because, like, I've been printing out a ton of paperwork, for the interview that I have, and at first I ran out of paper, so I went to Staples to get paper, and I brought it back, and then things were printing fine, and then, like, I was, like, almost done, and then I get all the shit, and the ink is starting to fade towards the bottom, and realized that it wasn't that I was running out of black ink, because the black ink was pretty much full when I checked the levels. But it was actually the color ink, even though I was printing all black. Because, of course. So I had to go back out to Staples, like, the next day and get color. It's fucking stupid. But it's a common problem, apparently. I don't know. I don't understand that. No. If I'm printing black and white, why is the color ink needed? I don't get it. Fuck printers.
It was the worst time, though, because when my printer died last semester, I was taking that creative writing class. And so whenever I wrote the 10-page thing, I needed copies for everyone.
Right.
So there's... so that's what, at least 100 pages? So I'm sitting here going, on top of the fact that my printer is broken, I'm not printing this myself. So every morning that I needed to print them out, just walked straight into the library, found a nice little seat, went to the print number, this many, print, went, stand. People lined up behind me, but I'm just standing there like, hey, how's it going?
I kind of miss the college printers because those are, like, super fast. Like they churn that stuff out.
Yeah,
nice front and back. Didn't have to pay a cent for it.
Exactly.
I mean, it's probably in my tuition somewhere, but personally, like, I didn't feel like I was wasting money.
My school, I get charged to print, but I'm given a $30 balance. And I forget how much it is per page.
Probably a couple cents, right?
It's cheap, but the other day I had to print out, like, this document that was like 32 pages. and I hit print, and I watched my budget go from like 27 something to 26 something, and I was like, "Oh God, ow!"
Oh man,
it cut into my heart.
It was a whole dollar worth of printing.
I just printed it, and the whole time, like it's just printing, and it was like pausing in between at times, and I was
but for
God.
30 some pages, if you go to like Office Depot or something, they're like 5-10 cents a page.
Yeah,
I mean, like, yeah, it's good, but it's just the fact that, like,
you're still getting charged.
Oh man, well, yeah. I mean, honestly, personally, I think when I pay to go to any sort of higher education, my tuition fee should cover my fucking paper charges.
Yeah.
It
should cover your tuition fee. Should cover a lot of things.
I mean, technically speaking, my tuition did cover $30 worth of printing per semester. But what I'm saying is that fuck that $30 part and just give me free printing. I'm paying you enough money as is.
Right. Hey, at least undergrad had free printing.
Yeah.
So going off of how ingenious I was with my printing technique, I've been thinking about something else as well.
Oh God.
All right, go on with it.
So I was driving around the other day, and it just came to my head. I was thinking, how did people figure out food back then? Like, starting from the very beginning.
Are you saying like recipes and stuff?
No, I'm talking about just what is edible. And besides the part of the topic where it goes, they followed animals around and tried what they tried kind of thing. Just like, who decided, hey, if I kill this thing, can I eat it? Or, hey, this just, like bee honey. How did they go? Okay, hey, if I go into this thing swarming with 1,000
those are the ones that really
death
get
pellets.
There's like there are whole history books dedicated to like the history of food and like how people since like prehistoric times basically evolved from eating the paleo diet of like nuts, berries, and then like the meat that they get, and then how it transitions like once agriculture became a thing, and then like as you progress further and further throughout time, then you get to like ancient times. It's just like how people discovered new crap that they could throw together.
Like who's the guy sitting there going, hey, if I put a bunch of these grapes in a barrel and leave it there.
Yeah, like alcohol is like that, and then like what do you call it? Cheese was like a fucking mistake to begin with. Like
exactly, how are you churning milk and just end up with cheese?
Because they were taking the milk and they were storing it in those like the skin or the stomach like things that they you just used to carry water or whatever, and then like by accident it just kind of curdled and became cheese.
That's on top of the part where
it was just an accident.
Who was sitting there going, I wonder if I can drink from this cow.
Like I feel like people back then weren't even thinking about it. To be honest with you,
hey, that little cow is drinking from the cow. Why can't I drink from the cow?
Yeah, there's like whole. Well, I was gonna say, I mean, because it's all survival instincts, early on. So it's like, whatever you can get is what you're gonna consume to give yourself the energy you need to hunt.
And then they decided that those nuts and berries they were eating went well on the meat.
Mm-hmm. And now you have French restaurants that give you a portion that's about the size of your like fist, and that's it.
Yeah. That's a very that's
a generous portion I'm giving those restaurants. Gotta say, I hate those restaurants where you pay out the ass for like something and then like you get your meal and it's just like 2 bites, because those restaurants are like they're designed for the type of people who are like serious, like they're like serious foodies. So what they do is like, and they have the money to burn, so like what they do is like they order a 6-course meal and they experience like each thing. Like, I remember, like, once I went out for, like, my mom's birthday or something to one of those places, and, like, we literally finished. My food was, like, 3 bites, and then we left. And I asked my parents if we could stop at Wawa on the way home to get a sandwich, because I was already hungry by the time we were getting towards our house, because I didn't eat anything. It was terrible. It was, like, and then, yet, the price for the dish was, like, $45. Like, fucking absurd.
Well, of course,
No, yeah.
Wait, whered you go to eat?
Oh, it was years ago. I don't remember. It's a long time ago.
I think the fanciest place, at least like within the States, I went to was one of the I think it's called like the Spindle Top. It was one of those tower restaurants that spun around.
Oh, I went to one of those in Canada actually. It was it was pretty cool.
Yeah, so one of those places, that was one of the where I found the tiny portion things. So you guys know I'm a decent sized guy.
Yeah,
I can put a little bit away.
Like that.
I'm not. I'm just trying to prove the size different situation here.
Oh God!
So they bring this little plate. They bring this plate where there's like this pinch of food on here. I'm going like I guess. I mean, I'm not paying for this, but okay. Like,
I mean, what else are you gonna do? Just sit there, like?
I mean, hell, like, you take one bite and you're done.
Yeah, basically, that's what it is. Yeah, like the restaurant I went to was like not from around here. It was like an hour away or something like that. I don't even remember. It was so long ago.
It's like, at least when I was actually in France, they actually did give normal plates of food.
It's kind of funny. Like, a lot of people also say like the complete opposite, where they'll say like, "Oh man, like you go to Europe, like you're not going to get the portions you get in the United States at all."
No, you get fine,
but
they're good over there.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I've personally never been. I really wanted, but I haven't.
I don't care for the veal, but man, that tiramisu, I will never forget that.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I bet you'll forget eventually.
Really, you didn't like their veal?
Not fresh made tiramisu in there. No, I guess it just wasn't for me. I'm not gonna say it was bad, but it's definitely different. The texture is different than
texture kind of guy.
Yeah, if you're one of those.
No.
If you're one of those people who have texture aversion, which is a thing.
I mean, if you want to talk about stuffing.
Oh, come on. Don't ruin that for me.
It's not going to be the first time I talked about him in a podcast.
Oh, really? Damn.
Oh, wait, we're going to talk about Nick?
No, I'm not the I'm not the guy with the texture problem.
I'm not the texture guy.
I'm not the texture guy. Oh man, it's so bad.
Stuffing's fine.
That's such piss poor reasoning. I'm just like, I don't know.
Oh, but the only thing you grab from Thanksgiving is a dinner roll.
That's the saddest thing ever.
When you don't know that stuffing is made out of bread. All right, let's really call this one.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
that's just the. How do you? What? How old was he at the time? Like 20.
Was this after the college?
Or before? Yeah, it was after the college.
He was over 18, yeah.
Yeah, so how do you go like 18 years not knowing that stuffing is made out of bread?
You just never bothered.
Like that is a legitimate question. How do you know? Like, how do you live your life? How? How is it even possible that somebody could actually not know?
It was a
no
nice
one bothered
surprise.
to tell him.
It's not even telling. It's just you look at it.
Do you not go into the kitchen? At least to me, how I knew is whenever that time came around, people around, so I went to hang out with the people. I was in the kitchen looking at stuff. I saw the giant bowl of bread, and they're like, "Oh, this is for the stuff," and I'm like, "Okay."
I'm not sure how I found out, but I'd like to say it was just through freaking common sense of like.
I'm pretty sure my parents explained it to me, and that was it.
Like, it's not some complicated concept, but yet I don't know. I guess when you live under a rock, I really don't know.
But can you just imagine like going to like a Thanksgiving and you see like that one family member like sitting at a table and all they have on their plate is a dinner roll. Like, the first thing that would go through my head is either one, they have an eating disorder, or second, like something else is going on. I'd be more concerned.
If this is after the dinner, fine. Snack all you want.
Yeah, I would be personally a little concerned if I saw a family member just eating nothing but a singular dinner roll at a Thanksgiving dinner.
If I helped cook, I'd be personally offended.
That's fair.
Certainly.
I would be too.
Yeah,
because I put time into this shit.
Yeah, Thanksgiving is a stressful ass holiday. Yeah.
The worst part was,
especially if you do something popular like the mashed potatoes or something that you know everyone will eat.
Yeah,
and someone's not.
Well, does he eat mashed potatoes?
I don't know.
You're asking me a tough question there. It's been too long to know now.
All right.
It might not be the right kind of texture.
Kind of guy.
I guess the texture. I guess the texture.
Because we're like, what? Because he was like, I don't want anything. Like, have you tried the stuffing? Like, no. It's like, it's made of bread, though. I was like, oh, hang on, I'll be right back. No, I didn't really.
Yeah, I didn't like it. It was too mushy. I'm a texture kind of guy.
I just can't I can't get over how something like stuffing. It's like, how can you fuck that up ever? Because I know there's different recipes. Some people put fruit in there, like cranberries and stuff.
Yeah.
But the way my family's always made it is the bread, and you get a little bit of sausage in there, and some celery and carrot and some mushroom that's just really finely chopped or whatever. How do you go wrong with that shit? And it's I don't know.
I don't think you do go wrong with it. I think it's your taste buds that go wrong with it if you don't like it.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of surprises like that, it kind of got me. I kind of wanted to ask, when did you find out that Santa might not be real?
Oh, I found out about Santa. I was really young.
I think I was 8 or 9.
Do you remember how?
Oh yeah,
I remember how it was. So I must have been. I was probably 7, and it was. I was in class and kids were saying that Santa wasn't real, and I was one of the people who believed that he was real. And there was this whole argument between the believers and non-believers the whole time. And
the non-believers are wrong.
Yeah, and our teacher kept trying to stop the whole conversation because obviously they don't
want to upset.
Yeah, and then
kids,
I got really upset
because if a kid runs home going.
Right, so I got upset by the conversation, and then when I got home, I basically confronted my mom about it, and she just kept trying to deny it, and I guess I was very relentless about getting the truth at that point, and then she told me, and it was a pretty traumatic experience, honestly. That was definitely not a good day.
Yeah, for me,
it sounds a bit bummed.
Yeah, my parents decided when I was 9 or 10 years old to kind of just throw everything at me, and by throw everything at me, I mean not just tell me that Santa wasn't real, but also but also
tossing things.
But no, but also no, but also well, the Easter Bunny isn't real. The Tooth Fairy isn't real. Oh, by the way, this is what sex is. I was literally throwing all that shit at me at the same day. And I remember, I'm not even kidding about this. All of a sudden, we're talking about the Santa. And then, my mom goes upstairs. I shit you not. And, came back down with, this book. And it was the book about fucking and how babies were made. And I sat there as a 10-year-old. I'm just kind of I mean, it was kind of weird. Even, when I heard, the Santa thing and all that, my reaction wasn't I wasn't sad or disappointed. I was kind of just okay, yeah. And then I remember literally that Christmas, it was the year of, because this happened beforehand, and then that Christmas came, and I remember I was playing, I was downstairs in the basement, and I was just playing PlayStation or something like that, and then I came upstairs to get a drink of water, and I just see my parents hunched over the tree wrapping shit. I just stood there and stared at them, and I'm like, all right. Night. But yeah, that was that day was an overload in my brain.
I remember mine. My aunt was visiting us, and so I'm trying to remember. She brought her trailer or mobile home, whatever it was, and so she was living out of that while she was staying with us. And so I went in. I guess I was looking for her or whatever, and so. Or maybe I was just hey, here's a new thing. I want to see the new thing. So I go in, and I see a bunch of presents sitting on the couch. So I'm like, okay, well, I gotta look at the presents. So on them, there's nice little things of, to me from Santa. I'm like, oh. All right. Well, I guess that's it then, huh?
But you know what? Then, oh yeah, go on.
Then I don't know.
How old were you, Brad?
This was before. Oh gosh, I need to line up with school grades.
Jesus Christ.
3rd, 4th grade.
Oh, okay.
I feel that's the norm.
However old that is.
8, 9. 8, 9,
yeah, something
10.
like that. So I was just, nothing really happened from that. I was just I guess that's the reality now. And then went about my day.
Yep.
I wasn't like overly upset. I didn't break down, but I was just like, oh.
You know what? Like, you get older,
Okay.
and then like you kind of just learn that. For me now, it's like, you know, because you get to that age where it's like your parents start asking you, they're like, you know, the holidays are coming around, and they're kind of just like, all right, like, what do you want? And like, you know, to some it might like kind of ruin the thing, but for me, like, it's just the I just like it still because it's just like the season and like the mood is like that's the part that I like the most. So it doesn't even matter like to me.
My mom's hey, give me a Christmas list.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes.
These things.
Yeah.
And then she'll try her best to throw in some new things. Yeah. Not to make it special. So she tries.
It's okay. Those socks are always on my list because I just lose them all the time.
The point that you get old enough to where you actually ask for clothing, where I'm like, hey, I actually
need this shit.
Yeah.
I'm always running out of socks. I don't know what's going on.
That was the turning. Where do socks go?
Yeah, they just vanish. So every year I just ask for like
I have no clue.
A shitload.
How do socks keep disappearing?
I've recently had all my undershirts vanish.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So I haven't worn an undershirt in like 2.5 weeks now.
Where do these things?
Yeah, that's a significantly larger piece of clothing than a fucking sock. Like, where's this going?
Like, I'm not even kidding. I probably had like 8 of them, and I have absolutely no idea where they are. like, I was like, Mom, have you seen them? I don't know where they are, and I'm getting concerned now.
I finally went through all my clothes and like organized my closet a bit. And so as I'm sitting there, I'm going, wow, I have a lot of white shirts. I just have a lot of white undershirts.
Now that I think about it, because whenever I've seen you, you've been wearing like a white shirt.
that was my go-to a long time before, to be just like, I'm chilling at home, I'm gonna wear the white shirt, or at least I used it for like an undershirt.
You racist.
But I haven't done that in a while, and so as I just cleaned up everything, I was like, wow, I have a lot of freaking white shirts.
You're the worst.
So, growing up, okay, by the way, Santa's still real, okay, for everyone who's listening with that was our experience. We're not denouncing it.
Science has yet to give us a proper answer, so
true fact.
We still cannot determine the
science can't measure Christmas magic.
Yeah, so
it's true, it can't.
In your face, Earth.
In your face, science.
Yeah, science is a bunch of stupid people.
Something like that. Can't even measure Santa. What is this?
Especially if Earth was flat, Santa could travel around a lot better.
That's how he travels around so quickly.
Boom.
He turns
there you go. You're welcome, Eve world.
For a brief period.
We just solved the magic of Christmas, all right? You're welcome.
Done it here first. Put it on your calendar.
That's how you get famous. Cracking the Santa code.
Speaking of fucking flat Earth, I saw this like meme a couple days ago where it was like, if the Earth was flat, how come our feet are like this? And it shows like an arched foot and then like a flat foot. And it's like, why are our feet like this when they should be this?
Well, just because the Earth as a celestial body is flat doesn't mean it's flat terrain. You're not a 2D figure.
It's okay. You think meme creators know science?
I would hope so, at least a little bit. But anyways, so as we're kind of talking about growing up and this and that, it's time for our college kids corner bit.
Oh.
So
is that cake? Sorry.
Oh, don't do it.
I'm just gonna leave it.
No,
don't do it.
It's CKC.
Got it.
Oh, Jesus.
So da.
Forget the past 30 seconds.
Haven't done one of those in a while. So today's topic is
potpourri,
and how it can help you spice up your love life.
How eating potpourri can cleanse your body of toxins by replacing it with new ones.
Exactly.
Or just eating Tide Pods.
Yeah.
how potpourri is better than Tide Pods.
How dare you?
Look, can Tide Pods get your dishes clean?
That should have been someone's senior speech.
Yeah, that should have been there.
No, but the real topic is college partying and the drinking phenomenon.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So...
Oh, gosh, you're leaving me on the spot here. No, that's when you...
Go on, Brad. You've got the most experiences out of all of us.
I think all of us sharing our own story here will be the...
Everyone do it. It's good for you. It helps kill...
unnecessary brain cells.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because if there's too many in your head, then you won't
The government can take over your body.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
We don't
the
want
government will take over your body. Because of the nanobots in your drinking water.
The FBI is coming.
I think one of you should lead in here.
Well, Nick is the alcoholic of the group.
Oh, God. Okay. I mean,
if you're going to use someone's name, change it up a bit.
No, I'm not. I'll try not to.
Unless you just want to throw them under the bus.
Yeah.
I want their full names, addresses, and social security numbers.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to include that. Now, for me, it was like as a freshman, I went to one school before I transferred afterwards, and where I don't really want to name the school, but it had a reputation for being very party heavy, because like there was a lot of off-campus housing that was literally right across the road, and because the town was like, pretty boring, with the exception of like going to the fucking mall, but like how often can you do that in a given week? So the answer was to go to one of the house parties in the basement. And like I didn't go super often because I was never really big on it, but I went a couple times with like some of my friends just to like hang out and see if I can like talk to people or something like that. But I always hated it because it was like super cramped and like it got like really fucking hot in those basements. Like even in December, it was like ridiculous. It felt like it was like a sauna in the basement, and I wasn't about it. Like I just didn't like it that much. So like usually what I would do is like I would go out at like 9, and then I would hang out till maybe like 1, 2 in the morning, and then go back home. But there was one time that like really stuck, it really just stood out for me. It's probably the strangest experience I've ever had. And I know I've like told the story a billion times before to you, but this is for everybody else. So I had a friend who lived across the hall from me. And he was definitely my best friend. When he was there, he even came over to my house for Thanksgiving one year, like during the break. And, he was from Ireland, and the reason why he was at this school is because they had a scholarship where because the area had a very rich Irish past, so there's a scholarship where they basically selected students from Ireland, and like not many, like probably 10 total a year, and they brought them over on like a full ride, and he was one of them, and he lived across the hall from me. And I remember my roommate left because he was a neurotic weirdo who right, but but he moved out because he didn't like the way things were being run in the room, because that was the kind of person he was. So my buddy kind of moved in and kind of just chilled in my room. But anyway, there was one night over the weekend where he went out like pretty early, and I wasn't going out that week. I didn't feel like it, so I was like in my room just playing like games with I think Mike. We were playing stuff, and
yeah, we were playing on Xbox. I was bored that night at my college, and
and I think my friend Tom was in the room too. Oh, I just used his name, but it's okay. But that's all right, Tom. You know what? Honestly, I'm just gonna use their names. Doesn't matter. But anyways, so
it's not like they're gonna know who it is. There's plenty of people named Thom out there.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Damn it, Thom.
Yeah. So, anyways, my Irish buddy, he went out, and he did not come back to the dorm till like I want to say like 3 a.m. And I remember what ended up happening is like we were chilling in my room because we were still awake, and we just got this like rapid fire like knocking on the door. Like he took like both of his fists and just like pounded on the door. We opened the door, and his eyes were like he definitely did something else besides like drink, and I don't know what it was. Like he was definitely fucked up on something. But he came to the door, and he was like really hyper, and he was holding a Quiznos sub in his hand, and he was like just being really weird. So he came into the room, and he like sat on one of the beds, and he was like talking like a mile a minute, and he was talking about how like he got this laser pointer in the mail, and like he took it out, and like it was one of those laser pointers where the beam is so powerful that you could actually see it reflecting off the air particles, like all the dust particles in the air. So like why, I don't really I don't know, but like what he decided to do was open the window and start shining the laser down at the street, because my dorm building was basically perpendicular to the street, and it's the main street where like everyone's walking, because they're either going to the house parties or they're going to the sports bars or the pizza place or Turkey Hill that was open 24/7. And yeah, right. So he was shining the laser pointer around, and about like 20 minutes later we got a knock on the door. And it was campus police, and they were telling him how it was illegal because he was shining the beam, and at several times, I guess they were on the street, and they could see him, like, the beam hitting cars that were driving down the road, and they were, like, saying how it could have possibly blinded the driver, and, like, sent him, like, like, swerving off the road and, like, causing a terrible accident or something like that. So, so he apologized and all that, and they left. And then he went into his room and he put the laser pointer away. But then he came back because he forgot his sandwich. And then he took the sub and he went to the end of the hallway. This is my favorite part of the whole thing. This was fucking hilarious. He goes to the end of the hallway because there was like a window at the end. He opens it and he takes the sandwich. He didn't take a single bite of this fucking sandwich. He like just bought it and just brought it to his room. He literally just dropped the sandwich out the window. And it turns out that I heard a yelp from like outside, and it turns out that there was a student officer like patrolling the dorms, and he just domed this kid on the top of the head with a sub.
Well, you also told me, Nick, like, just correct me if I'm wrong, but when I heard the story many years ago, you said that when he threw the sandwich out the window, he held the sandwich, looked at it, and screamed, "Fuck you, sandwich," and then threw it out the window.
Yeah, he was like irrationally angry at the sandwich, like for no reason. Just like threw it out the window.
Even I met him too, and I remember when he told me that story. Yeah, he even told me that he just screamed, "Fuck you, sandwich!" and threw it out the window.
Shoved it out the window. Like he was just angry at the sandwich. And now, like, the student officer did not. At no point, to my knowledge, did he come upstairs. I don't really know what happened at that point, but I just remember, like, yeah, that happened, in like Killian, like, I fucking use his name, whatever. He like ran, his name's Killian, he's an Irishman, but he ran into his room and like hid there for like an hour. So at this point, it was like really late, and I was still on Xbox with you, Mike. and you heard what happened. You were on the mic when you heard the last thing happen. This was like the real, the sandwich was a great point, but like what happened afterwards was like the pinnacle of the entire story. So for some reason, the dorm buildings just had, in the event of an emergency, they had the fire extinguishers, obviously, but they were like, just there. Like, there was no glass case protecting the fire extinguishers or anything like that. So he took the fire extinguisher, and initially what he was doing was he was actually going up to the top floor of the dorm and the other two floors. And I was on the second, and then there was a floor above, which is where Tom lived, and then there was a floor below, and then a basement level where there were rooms as well as the common area, right? So he was going on the top floor and then the bottom two floors, running down the hallway, spraying the fire extinguisher. And I never went, like, I never saw what happened with like the other floors, but then he did it to ours. And I remember, like, at one point I went to the bathroom and like noticed that there was like, it was kind of like hazy in the hallway because of the foam or whatever. But I like didn't think anything, because like honestly I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I had no idea he was doing this. So like I go back in my room and I'm like playing, and then all of a sudden, like 20 minutes later, he like SWAT charges the door with the fire extinguisher in his hand into my room, and just like this unleashes this fire extinguisher all over my room.
Yeah.
He was hitting. I was getting like blasted point blank in the face by this thing.
From
like,
my perspective, I was talking to Nick on Xbox 360 back then, and we're playing games and we're talking, and I hear him go, "Oh, hey, Killian! Whoa, what the hell are you doing?" he was spraying this thing. Like, you ever see Commando or like Rambo or anything like that? Like, you know, like that stereotypical action movie thing where they take like the machine gun, they're just like kind of spraying it like side to side. He was doing that with the fire extinguisher. My entire room was like the shit was like settling on my bed. Like, I tasted it in my mouth. My eyes were burning. Like, it was like. It's like a chemical bomb just like went off in my room. That's why Nick's so special nowadays.
Yeah, it's why I say random strange things at random points of the day without any context.
Yep.
And also why I make strange noises. The amount of crap that was in that room that I was inhaling was just destroying my brain.
This is a lesson, kids. Don't
don't inhale
fire
anything.
Extinguisher.
Even if it was perpetrated by a drunk Irishman who was on a, God knows what else.
Yeah.
But that was my story. It's great.
The sandwich thing reminded me of the one time I accidentally dropped something out my dorm window.
Oh.
So it was during the fall semester, so it's cold. There's snow places, so I think I had like a bottle of Coke. So I'm like, oh hey, if I set it here next to this open window, it'll get cold for me. And, well, it was going fine until it wasn't in the window anymore.
You just dropped it out the window?
Yeah, it was about 3 floors down, sitting in a snowbank.
Hey, well, some refrigeration going on there, but
so I had to put on whatever I could, rush downstairs to go get it real quick before whatever happened.
Another thing that like I kind of like just thought about too was like the sandwich that he got, because he actually told me what he got, and it was like this Baja chicken thing that they have at Quiznos, right? And to my knowledge, it's basically like grilled chicken or whatever, and then you get like whatever veggies and shit, but then it's slathered with like melted cheese and then like bacon and this like chipotle mayo. And at Quiznos they fucking slather that on there, right? So like part of the thing that bothers me is because like Quiznos never, because I got it there a couple times, they never like like other sub places that like wrap the sandwich and they like tape the loose end down to keep it like like secure in the paper. They never did that here. So like when he dropped the sandwich out the window, I have to wonder, like, did that thing just explode on the kid's head? Because like I never saw what happened. But like,
that'd be so bad.
Just like this like explosion of chipotle mayo like all over his uniform or something like that. I don't know. I never saw it. I guess I don't know. But like, but yeah, it was just I don't know. It's something else worth mentioning. I don't know. He was a strange dude. I miss him. He was fun.
There's also this one situation I know from the downside of drinking. It was literally 11 in the morning. I'm sitting in the middle of class. We hear this car just whatever. We look out the side. Something happened, so we rush to the window. This car comes in, takes his big right turn, goes up onto the grass, comes back to the road.
What?
Sideswipes the corner of the building, breaking the brick off, scratches against the nearest car, and then drives down, getting stopped like a mile down the road after it popped a curb and flipped into a tree.
Jesus.
Dude was okay. He came out of it okay.
Did they like was he on something? Was he drunk? Like,
no, he was drunk at his ass.
Oh, okay. Hey, Mike, remember that time?
For whatever reason.
Yes, I know exactly what you're going to say, Nick.
Go on.
Go on. I guess I'll tell this story.
Yeah, go on.
There's not a whole lot to it because I wasn't present for it. So Nick and I actually conveniently later on in our undergraduate times, we actually ended up transferring to the same college that was closer to home, and at this college. So basically, there was a girl who, if I understand correctly, she was drunk and she was high.
Yeah, she was stoned. I remember that definitely.
There were a couple rumors going around, but for one thing's for sure is that she had like smoked a bunch of weed beforehand. Now, like I heard rumors that like she was still hungover from like the night before, and that's why she smoked all the weed to try and like get rid of the hangover. Whatever. Point being, she was past the point of being able to drive. So I don't know, again, like the full details of it, but she, I guess, decides to drive her car which is parked in one of the campus lots. Well, she somehow drove the car straight into one of the buildings and fucking broke into the building.
Yeah, it was the Performing Arts Center. It was like literally where the theater was.
She smashed into the first floor, one of the classrooms, and knocked out all the freaking brick and stuff, and actually got through the building. I think, like not through it, but like as in she hit it hard enough that enough things fell off the building that the building was now exposed.
Yeah, and I remember like
from the inside,
and like from my memory, I didn't even know this happened until I was in one of my classes. I was taking a special ed course, and this was exactly. And this was when Yik Yak was still
that's how I found out about it.
And that's exactly how I found out about it. It was through Yik Yak for that camp for the kids.
We were in our I was in my one of my higher level philosophy classes, and like I guess class had maybe like just ended, or maybe it was just starting or something like that, and someone was checking Yik Yak, and they were like, yo, some girl drove into the freaking Performing Arts building.
Like, there were so many posts.
What the fuck?
There were so many posts.
And then like our professor was like, oh my god, like we were just all talking about that, like, what the hell? She drove into the fucking building. like Brad, this isn't like your stories, the guy was so fucked up and he just wasn't driving straight. This girl drove straight into the building,
and I believe she went over like a guardrail too, like on the side.
The way the parking lot that she drove at front, like I think based on where she was parked. I mean, I don't know what type of parking lot it was, but it was like right next to one of the buildings. But it was kind of like there was like this guardrail, and it was like the parking lot was a little higher up, like elevated, I think, from the building. Like
over there,
higher land.
Right.
So like. Yeah, she must. I never saw like the car or anything, but she must have driven over the guardrail that would prevent somebody normally, from doing that.
Jeez, how do you go over a guardrail?
Realistically, she was probably so high that she thought she was in reverse. That's probably what happened.
It's possible, yeah.
Like she was probably just so fucked that she
Why am I not going back?
Well, she probably just thought her car was in reverse and just floored it for whatever reason and just went. But yeah, she ramped off and smashed into the building. She was fine.
I don't believe she had any injuries. Or
I think it was just, the only injury she did was she freaking hit the building, and everyone that was in the building felt it shake. I wasn't in the building, but I know people that were, and
people,
they were like, we literally felt the building shake.
Yeah,
that's terrifying.
So that's some bad experiences with it, but. So what's some good tips to do?
Make sure to take 30 shots in one night.
Tips to what?
Well, because we're doing all right. There's a lot of
tips to
bad
drinking
outcome stories.
Well, they're fun.
When you're going to a party and
for personally, I would try to go with friends at any point, just because. If you you go overboard, God forbid, one of them does, to at least be there and if it gets to the point where they clearly cannot take care of themselves, to just be there to help them. Don't let them do anything stupid. Make sure.
I recommend wearing a GoPro.
Oh yeah, make sure not to get roofied and all that. It's going in a group. I think is a lot better. It's a lot safer, and I think it's more fun too. It's more fun, too.
I think
hanging out with
I would
people
say it's a lot more fun, because, I went to... I didn't go to too many massive parties in undergrad, because like the ones I went to, it was like sports houses, whatever, where there was like 100 people in the house and the floors were bending, and you go down to the basement. And usually they've got like fucking massive strobe lights going on. So if you have epilepsy, never go in the basement.
Oh god,
because that's usually where all the like intense dancing happens, and I'm not even kidding, like those are strobe lights where I went down there and I was like, wow, someone could have a seizure from this. Like there's no.
I totally believe that. Yeah.
But like
just open the door, look down the stairs, like
like I was down there and it was so fucking hot. I went there with like, who did I even go with?
Yeah, it's super hot. When you go down there.
I mean, like I'm not even kidding. There was like a small ass house, and there must have been 100 people in there, and yeah, I'm not even kidding. The floors were bending, like when you were walking, like because everyone jumping and dancing at the same time on the first floor, you could actually feel like the shit bending.
It's like this was not what this was made for.
Well, yeah, and like I mean. The house, like at least in this one like instance, like it was so packed that like it actually would take me like 5 minutes to go from one end of the house to the other, and it was a small house, like because I just had to wait for people because it was a sardine can, like it was just crazy,
it's cramped.
So at some point, like I just ended up I forgot who I went with. I must have gone with like. I guess I went with like 3 other guys, and I'm not gonna name drop, but like we ended up just like sitting outside like on the front porch, and like people were having cigarettes, and like they were just chilling out there. I wasn't even drinking because like honestly, the party was so loud and so hey, there's a party going on here. I was just like the cops are gonna show up. Like I just knew the cops were gonna show up. And lo and behold, like, me and 2 of my friends, we left, and, like, we took my car. The party was literally, like, 2 minutes away, but, the walk would have been a bitch to do. So, we get back to like, our dorm, and, like, honestly, to bring it around, like, personally, for me, it is way more fun to drink with a group of friends, like, 12 people, whatever, in a dorm room than it is to go to like, a house party, because, when you're underage, like, you can get caught so easily at the parties, which is where I'm going with this next. Like, so, like I said, I went with 3 guys, 2 of us went back, 1 wanted to still stay at the party. So we get back to the dorm, and like, we're having a couple drinks, hanging out, and the next thing we know, he's calling us, panicking, because, what do you know? The cops came and busted the party. And so, like, the cops showed up, they busted the party, they arrested, like, at least 5 people. And then, our friend, like, booked it and, like, hopped the fence and just kept running, like, down the developments or whatever. So, like, it was a bitch to find him anyway, because he was, like, telling us where to find him, but he kept moving the whole time. But yeah, like, when we pulled up and around, there were cop cars surrounding the entire house. And it was just like, it had maybe been like, I don't know, 45 minutes since we had left, an hour, something like that. And I mean, there were a ton of people there. The chances of, me actually getting like caught in that scenario, probably pretty, non-existent. But like, still, it was one of those things where I was like, it was really good to be left. Like, just, there was no need to like be there in that type of scenario. But like,
right. So it's like, you can go to one maybe just to get the experience, but...
Yeah, just be smart about it. Like, honestly, don't go. In my eyes, personally, like, don't go to a house party and then plan to get fucked up, because that's just asking for trouble in one way or another. Like,
so yeah, it's like if you want to drink to like, not remember the next day and have fun with people, like do what you're saying. Like, have some place, like maybe if your parents are cool with it, or if you have just a general space that you can confine in. The handful of you, so that way there's sleeping arrangements and no one has to go anywhere.
I mean, but if you're in a dorm, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Go anywhere.
But I just figured it'd be like just somewhere that could contain you. Not really at dorms. I mean, they could just walk down the hall. So it's like
Yeah, because
somewhere like that.
We would host like a lot of parties in my dorm room, like because my setup was a double, so like it was 2 rooms connected with a shared bathroom. So like it was pretty big. Yeah. We would have a good like, I don't know, like 10, 15 people in our room. Yeah.
It's just not horrible.
No, I mean, and also like, one piece of advice I could actually give that is really, really good. Try to make friends with an RA. Not even your RA. Like I just like I mean, don't just make friends with them because they're an RA. Like a lot of them are actually just like people who don't really want to get anyone in trouble anyway. But like
the only reason I would have been an RA was just because they would have the room to themselves.
Yeah. So like I had one friend who was an RA, and I guess technically I had 2 friends that were RAs. The other one was an acquaintance, but like the one that I was like really good friends with, she would text me when Res Life was doing their rounds. So like,
like, all right, everyone out.
Well, no, it was like, she would text us, hey, Res Life is doing their rounds. Are you guys drinking tonight? And we were just like, no, we're actually not. Or like, if we were, we would just tell everyone to like be quiet, and just like, and everyone would, because nobody wants to get caught. Like,
yeah.
So we were just all like chill out, like tone it down a bit, because like Res Life isn't going to knock on every door. Like that's not what they're doing. They're just walking through the halls to hear if anything sounds suspicious, like things like that. But they're not going to like, at least not our school. They weren't going to just like knock on your door and do like random room checks like that.
You're going to kick it in, be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. But like that definitely helped a lot. Like, if you have an RA who's a friend, like they can really get out there. But that was also like, we would even invite her sometimes to like our parties when she was like off, like for her rounds. Like she would even text us when she had to do rounds, because like RAs had to do them as well. So she would just be like, "Hey, I'm doing rounds tonight. I'll be in like Anthony Hall soon." So I'm like, "Okay, quiet. Like you can stop in for a beer if you want." It was fun. But yeah, like, I don't know. Everyone has their own perception of what's fun, though. Like, there are definitely, it depends on the college you go to as well. Because, like, there are house parties and stuff that could be, like, really fun that just weren't where I went to school. Like, yeah, it just depends. Like it's always a different setting. I mean, I've heard, the people say, like, the house parties they go to, like, all the fun stuff that happens. It's like, oh, yeah, that sounds like it would be fun. Yeah, and then you get others where it's like my experience, where it's just like a sardine can. You're like, okay. The other party, one of the other parties I went to was a toga party.
Oh, no.
No, it was, I mean, there was nothing wrong with it in that sense. Like, it's fun. I was like, oh, yeah, cool. I got to go to a toga party. The problem was that it was just a complete sausage fest. Like girls is just, I mean, some girls showed up, but the ratio is so fucking
probably really
off.
Skewed.
Yeah, so shortly after, me and my friend just left the room back to the room, and we like texted our friends, and they came over and had drinks. Like that was always like our go-to. Like if we were bored, we were just like, we would either text people to come to our room, or we would just put our alcohol in a backpack and go to those people's room and knock on their door and be like, "You ready to drink?" And they're like, "Okay, sure, yeah, whatever." But it was fun, good times, definitely.
So basic moral of the story is just, you can go have fun, but use at least 20% of common sense.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if you don't, sure, you can totally get away and you'd be fine. But you do increase your chances of getting caught if you
yeah,
or getting hurt, or whatever. Who
cares about getting hurt? Who the fuck cares, man? No, you want to have a good time.
Or getting pregnant, or
I would say some other useful stuff. If you're one of those people who, like, doesn't really know how to, like, if you have a hard time like striking up conversation with people, like, just do it, because no one's gonna fucking remember. So they'll be like afraid Don't be afraid to try
just throw a
a
drink on them, and then boom,
and then another thing, like, because it was relatively common where I went, but like bring extra cash on you, because they might try to cover charge, and if you want to impress your lady friends who are in your group, you pay for them as well.
Usually,
I did that
for free though.
Yeah,
exactly. But you can at least still offer, and it's still in there.
Yeah, I mean, like, usually, at least the way it always worked for us was like, guys pay like $5 cover charge.
Yeah, something like that.
Girls get them for free.
That's because they want the girls to show up.
Oh yeah, that's exactly why. That's literally why. And like other parties will just do like a limit where like a guy has to bring like 2 or 3 girls with him, or to balance it out or whatever. Yeah, I mean, depends. Each party's got their own different requirements.
Everything's different. Yeah, I'm pretty sure over there they had everyone pay. It's kind of messed up, but on the same topic though, like, what is your favorite party?
Opportunity payer, man.
Yeah, but what was their favorite party? What was the best party you've ever been to?
My favorite party.
Oh yeah, Brad. Which time at my house?
Oh man, if we're gonna involve alcohol, but favorite college party?
Yeah,
would probably have
or
to be
no, any party where alcoholic beverages were
consumed.
Prevalent.
That narrows down my party list.
Yeah, which time at my house? Well, Matt's house.
New Year's was fun.
Yeah, he finally puked.
But
this fucker wouldn't drink water.
Yeah.
So probably the first time. I think we had a good time that one.
I don't even remember which time it was. Was it the Lucy time?
Yeah.
The Lucy time.
Yeah.
How about you, Mike?
Now
my favorite party.
Now my favorite college party was when we got together and played D&D.
Not
all right.
You fucking loser.
Yeah. I didn't want to say that.
You're gonna get a fucking swirly, you little nerd.
Hey, we joined a party.
Yeah. A merry party of adventurers.
Oh man!
Like, that was about as wild as we could get.
Oh, my favorite party. Damn, that is a loaded question.
Was it the one with the sunrise?
That wasn't a party. I was just drunk that night. But I didn't go to a party. It was just me and my roommate were bored, and we were like, "You want a drink?" We're like, "Okay."
There's a party somewhere.
The party was in our heads. Which one? I'm genuinely trying to think when I had the absolute most fun. Yeah, It's such a loaded question.
Which one did you have the least amount of regret going to?
Thankfully, knock on wood, there are very few parties that I actually regret.
All right.
There are some that I enjoyed more than others, but a lot of times you wake up the next day and you're like, oh my god, you get those little snippets of memory or something. You're like, oh god, that was so bad. Thankfully, I didn't have a lot of those. Now, that was either because I just didn't remember them, or they didn't happen that often. I'm gonna go with the latter. But I mean,
we'll leave it to the mystery.
No, I think I'll make a choice. But this is gonna kind of. It was my freshman year, St. Patty's Day weekend. It was.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no.
Oh my god. I started drinking Thursday, and I stopped drinking Sunday.
Oh god.
You know, when you're young, your body can handle a lot more. I'm telling you now, like, if I tried to do that now, I would be dead. It would be the worst days of my life.
So it's just the biggest rule. Just use your common sense. There's not really a trick to it. Thank you, Fuda and Nick, for joining me on this one.
No problem. You alcoholic, you.
I love telling stories.
And we will see y'all next time.
See ya.
Bye.